everybody.
Hey,
Welcome.
thanks.
You're welcome.
Well played. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
Good. Welcome, everybody, to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is the show where we talk about your guys' stuff, the stuff going on in your guys' lives, or gals' lives, if however you identify
I
yourself.
never. I like that.
Hmm?
I like that. Galses.
Guyses and galses? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Guyses and dollses.
Yep.
Exactly. So, anyway, welcome. This show is about you guys. We're just here. We want to talk. We want to help out any way we possibly can. If you have some kind of thing going on in your life, you can feel free to let us know about it. We are not professional therapists or counselors or anything like that. We're not policemen or lawyers or judges or what. I mean, we're just a couple guys on your screen right now.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Um, and yeah, so, but yep, if you wanted to let us know what's going on, you can feel free to drop us a line in the chat. Just let us know. You can send us a message at our website, bss.studio. And I'm sure the link is coming. It'll be there. I'd find it and put it up there, but it would take me a lot longer than Princess. But anyway, you can do that, or you can send us an email, dww@bss.studio. Or you can message us on Discord. Any one of us, either myself or Static or Princess. You can send us there. Discord or the email is the best way to send one if you'd like to remain anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let us know if you'd like to remain anonymous. We get messages that people, that's just how they prefer to send the message, whether they want to be anonymous or not. So it'd be really cool for you to let us know. And otherwise, we'll start a dialogue with you. We'll be like, hey, do you want to be anonymous? And then you'll say, yeah, or no, or whatever. And, or it doesn't
They
matter.
might even say whatever.
They might. Yeah, exactly. They might
I
send a
don't care.
dab in the chat, It's
Yeah, that's right.
exactly.
They could.
Yep. So, yeah, but like I said before, we're not professionals. We just want to help in any way we can. We want to be your friend, first of all. We want to accompany you in any possible way through whatever challenge you might be facing. We know sometimes things are tough, and sometimes having a therapist is great. I just actually last Friday had my first appointment with my therapist. It was really good. Learned all kinds of things about my own personal diagnosis, because that first meeting they're kind of just assessing where you're at and all
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff, so they go through all kinds of questioning and stuff like that and kind of get a feel for what's going on. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be a good thing. But even in the midst of having professional therapy, it's good to have friends around. It's good to have people who care about you. It's good to have people who can offer some perspective, because sometimes we're in the middle of something and we're facing one part of it. Sometimes our problems are really complicated, and we're just trying to sort it out, and we're looking at this one particular thing and we're getting really stressed about it. But there's a whole picture to look at, and sometimes somebody outside of that picture can show you the whole picture again, and then in light of that help you to make better decisions, based on what they see regarding the thing you're facing. So
Sure.
anyway, I know that for sure. And it was funny, my therapist even said that, hang around with your friends. Spend time with your friends, spend time doing things that you like to do, and spend time with your friends, and get more sleep, because those of you who have heard me on here, yeah, my sleep habits are not all that great.
That's
Um,
true.
and also drink more water. And yeah, so those are some good things to do: exercise, water, and sleep. They seem to be good things. So even my therapist
Yeah.
says so. So Ryan, how are you doing tonight?
Fantastic. Thank you for asking. Um, things, you know, things are things, and I wouldn't complain. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah.
Good,
How you
good.
doing, man?
I'm fabulous, but better than I deserve. As
Butter?
better
Butter
than
than
I
I deserve.
deserve. Yeah. And with us also is Princess. Princess, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Wonderful. Princess is our chat room hostess. She's also the person who keeps us on track. She reads our topics. She lets us know when we're talking too much about nothing. she,
Yep.
she's really good at just helping us keep this show moving in the direction that it needs to be going. So, round of applesauce for Princess because she's awesome. Yeah, there you go. I was like,
Thanks,
Ryan, come
princess.
on.
You rock. I didn't know. Didn't know if I wanted to do it, clockwise or counterclockwise. I had to figure that out mentally.
Oh, gotcha.
No, just
Yes.
kidding.
You did it.
I
You
just
did it the correct
I
way.
was reading chat, to be honest.
Oh, right on.
So I was processing what you were saying, delayed. You ever do that? You hear what someone says, and then it hits you like a second later than they say it
hmm
because you're concentrating on something else.
Or the next day.
Yeah, my brother does it. My gosh, the next day. Wow. my brother, he'll be doing something on the computer, and I'll say something to him, and then I'll walk away, and then 15 minutes later, he'll answer my question that I asked as if I had just asked it. It's kind of funny.
Mm. Yes, he's good at that. But he's a
Mhm.
thinker.
Oh yeah,
His brain is incredible at thinking, which is what brains do.
that's right. That's his brain worked good.
His brain work good.
Your
It
brain
does.
done work good.
Yes, and you being his brother, also your brain work good.
My brain smart.
Your brain smirk.
That's right. I got brain.
Yeah.
Hey, brain have got brain me.
Good.
Yeah. So,
Good
anyways,
job. I'm impressed.
uh-huh. Thanks. Appreciate it. Let's carry on
Yes,
before we
we
make
should.
ourselves look too stupid
That
and
we
not so smart that people don't want to listen to the thing we say.
they might actually still.
They might.
They might
It's
just
true,
for entertainment purposes.
That's right. These kids are so hilariously
We-
dumb. It's like watching a horror movie. It's not for the wisdom. It's not for the horror. It's for the laughs.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what horror movies are for?
Horror movies are not so that you get scared. They're so that you think they're funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know
Uh-huh.
that. I've always been scared at them.
Oh. You don't be.
Oh.
Joe, they're not real.
They're not?
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger is not real?
Yeah, you don't have to worry anymore.
Oh, man.
He's not gonna go jump into your dreams and do whatever Freddy Krueger would do.
Yeah,
if
with
he
his
were
big
real.
claw hand thingy.
Edward Scissorhands, yeah.
That's not, well, he had it too. But
They're the same guy.
No, they're not.
Hmm.
Freddy Krueger wore
Oh.
a hat.
You're right. Edward Scissorhands doesn't have the head shape to put a hat on.
No, have you seen his
there's no way to
hair? His
fit it.
hair is.
That's right. That's right.
And I've
There's no
never
way you can put a
seen.
hat on that man.
I've never seen Freddy Krueger trim a shrubbery.
Kind of want to.
Yes, that's true. Anyway, we're talking about movies. Most of you guys probably don't even know what we're talking about. Like, what?
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Horror movies that are old horror movies. Yeah, not even digital.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Amazing. But yes, we will. Let's go through our list of topics. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
Let's see who's here. We got a whole list of previous topics, and I'm gonna go through the list, and we'll see if any of you hear your name. You can go ahead and you can let us know if you're here, and that would be wonderful. So we've got Ian Lam, Ezekiel Games, Dracon, LG, Toast, Immature Success, Joe B, Anonymous, Amira, Stephen, Matt, and now we have Ash. That is, we just have a topic. And I know, Ash, I see you're
Thanks,
here.
Ash.
Thank you very
Mhm.
much for the topic. But if anybody else, if you heard your name, scream really loud so we can hear it.
That's right.
It's
Don't
like
wake your parents up, but scream enough so that we can hear it. Because that's how sound works.
Yes.
Hey, Swope. Long time no see.
Yes.
Swope is Matt.
Swelk is
So-
Matt. And hey, Steven's here too. Hey, welcome,
Oh,
Steven.
Steven's here too? Nice.
Yep. We had a great time. Hey, we had a great time playing with you on Friday. That was good. We were doing some gaming. It was a fun time.
Yeah.
And I got to play on the Minecraft server with Ash yesterday.
Nice.
That was
nice.
cool. So yeah, it's been a fun time playing some video games.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so we've got some people here, and looks like first on the list is going to be Steven. His came in before the rest of them. And am I joining this week as well? Maybe. I don't know. We'll
Hope
find
so.
out.
That'd be cool.
It's still Wednesday, and that's like Friday. I think is the day for that.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know till the day of, or sometimes
Mhm.
you don't even know till the moment of.
Right.
That's the way things go.
Things change, and things change when they're crazy. But
Mhm.
yes, there we go. With there's a link in the chat for you. You can click it, and it will take you to a topic, and it's Steven's topic, and it'll be good. So, it's there already. So, Princess, if you want to go ahead and read it for us, feel free whenever you are ready.
This one is called Broken People by Stephen. For those who don't know, I see myself as a very broken person. Now, this isn't bad because to me, everyone breaks at some point, and while I've been broken for a while, the most important thing is that I'm still building myself up. I bring this up because I was talking to a friend a while ago, and I mentioned this, but she responded with, I'm not a broken person, because to her, no person is truly broken. To her, you aren't truly broken if you can fix yourself. So there was a conversation about it. It wasn't an argument or anything, just an expression of how we see what a broken person is. We both used the same example. Hers being, if you break a plate and it shatters, you can't fix it, and that's broken to her. Well, I said, if you break it and it shatters, but you could still have all the pieces, you can still fix it, but the plate was still broken at that time. So to me, being me, I thought about it and figured we were both right. My conclusion was a person can be broken. However, it's important to realize that you don't have to stay broken. Otherwise, you aren't broken, but more. I apologize. I don't quite know what that word's supposed to be.
Denigrated.
Denigrated?
Denigrated? I'll have to look that one up. However, I don't think that any person could be denigrated unless they really try to. Then thought about sharing it here, so now here I'm asking. What's a broken person to you, and how do you feel about your own idea of a broken person? Heads up, I think I got a good topic for next week too, so yay. Anyways, hope you guys are enjoying this, because I know I am. It's only been week 2. From Stephen.
Well, thank you very
Awesome.
much, Stephen. Thank you for the topic. And yes, I have gone through many times in my life when I have felt broken. And so I definitely know how you feel. And it's true. Even when we are broken, we can be repaired. And in many cases, we can be stronger as a result. Sometimes if we end up being broken in a certain way, it can cause trauma that can last for a long time, and it can be recurring pain, in our lives, even after the event. But yes, we can generally pick up the pieces, and put things back together. And in a lot of ways, when things get put back together, it's more beautiful and stronger than it was in the first place, before the brokenness happened. But yes, I know very well of the condition of which you speak, and have vast experience in that realm. But I'm looking forward to hearing what Ryan has to say about it. So I'm going to turn it over to him and listen to what he's got. Ryan?
No, this is a great topic, Stephen. I'll tell you what, communication is an interesting thing because in the English language, we have words that mean one thing specifically, and we all use that same word in a different way. Um, happens a lot. Happens with me and my girlfriend. We have discussions about, what are you trying to say to me? Because I'm not getting it. So it's just, wording is really difficult in language. You can have, this is a great example, right? When I was a kid, even until I was probably about 20 years old, I would have taken the position that your friend did, in that no one is truly broken, right? And the reason I would say that is, no one is broken in the sense that they cannot be repaired. No one is broken in the sense that they are no longer human, no longer able to do the act which makes one human, or be one human. For example, if you have a plate, right? I'm going to use your example. You have a plate and it breaks in the ground. Can you still use it as a plate effectively? Not yes, but if it's shattered into enough pieces, no, right? You can't use that as even if it's shattered like just into 3 pieces, right? You pick them up, you have to, like, you can set one down on the table, you can use it kind of as a plate. I think an even better example is a bowl. If you have a bowl and it falls and it breaks, it gets a crack in it anywhere, does it function as a bowl anymore? How you'd want a bowl to function? And your answer is ultimately like, well, not really. It's not really a bowl anymore. It's a bunch of pieces of porcelain, or a bunch of pieces of clay, or a bunch of pieces of plastic, whatever it was made out of, right? And so it's no longer a bowl, right? And that's why we call it a broken bowl, because it doesn't function as a bowl anymore. If you get a bowl and you just get a chip on one of the top edges, it still functions as a bowl. It's still fine. It's not really broken. It's just damaged, right? And so no big deal. No big deal at all. And so when you look at broken human beings in that sense, that's kind of how I used the term in the past. You'd say, well, they don't stop functioning as a human being just because they have issues. It's more like just chips, right? There's just chips in them that prevent them from maybe getting the full extent of the bowl, right? If a bowl has like a chip in it and you try to fill it all the way up to the brim, it'll start leaking out of that chip, right? And that's disintegrate. You meant disintegrate. Okay, totally cool. It's just kind of funny because denigrate is a word too. You meant disintegrate. No problem, Stephen. So if you as I was saying, if you have a chip out of a bowl, or a crack near the top, you try to fill it all the way up, it's going to start leaking out of that chip. So its capacity is not as big, right? And that's kind of similar to our humanity. When we start breaking down here and there, right? It's like we're getting chips in us. We can't be as full. We're not as fulfilled, and our emotional capacity for something might be diminished. We might not be able to take as much damage as usual, as like far as, emotional damage or physical damage or whatever it is, right? Might give in easier. And so in that way, I think humans are more damaged rather than broken. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you this. After about, I don't know, like I said, that was kind of how I thought about it until I was 20. But once I started doing Don't Worry Wednesday, about that time, the term became common to use broken in a different sense. Like, because Joe would use the word broken, like he's a broken human being, or people in the chat, or people writing us messages, they would say broken, meaning that things aren't perfect. They're saying broken as in damaged. They're saying broken to mean, hey, I have many breaks and many problems in my life, and yeah, I have bad habits, and I have all of these things which are not good, right? They're bad parts of me. There's all sorts of different things for what broken means in that sense. So I sort of allowed myself to just go, okay, that's how people want to mean broken. If that's how people mean broken when they say they're broken, then I can use that word the same way. So sure, yeah, we're broken humans. Humanity, everyone's kind of broken here and there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so really for me, it was just a matter of changing and realizing people are using the word in this way. So I need to use that word the same way so that I can effectively communicate with them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if I refuse, by all means, just like no matter what, I'm never going to use the word the way that you mean it, it's really only going to cause error or issues with that person, because then they won't be able to get me and I won't be able to get them, or I'm refusing to understand them just because of semantics, right? And semantics are semantics. They're silly to get caught up on, but it's really easy to, right? Because there's so many ways that someone can put together a sentence, and it to you it means one thing, to them it means an entirely different thing, and you want to be on the same page as them.
Mm-hmm.
So I love, Stephen, that you talked it out with this person, not an argument, but just explaining to each other. And in the end, you came to the right conclusion. You're both right. It's just a word, and you mean different things by it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important that we adjust ourselves, at least when talking with that person, to get with their language, the way that they speak, so that we can better understand them, and so that we can be better understood. Because yeah, if you don't do that, then there's just going to be constant problems. So I think in that kind of case, both parties should be willing to adjust, right? Both parties should be willing to adjust. So it's like, okay, I get what you mean now. You mean this. And the other person says, yeah, and you mean this. And it's like, perfect. Well, we can communicate now better,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, I mean, that's what I got to start with. And it was a thing I actually went through very recently myself. And so it seems like it's a common issue, language.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, language is not perfect. And the way we interpret it is not perfect. It's arbitrary, abstract, rather. It's very strange, because you come to understand a term through your life by the way that you experience things and the words people use for that experience, right? And that's all you have. And that can be very different from someone else's experience. And so your same word can have entirely different feelings, emotions attached to them, different definitions entirely. And yeah, so I think it's great, Stephen, that you encountered this and you went about it the right way. But anyways, Joe, what do you got to say?
I think you're absolutely right, Ryan. Language can be difficult, and what it is, I mean, what's the purpose of it? The purpose is to communicate with each other, right? The purpose is to be able to be on the same page, to be able to express an idea and have them express the idea back. I mean, all that. That's what language is for. And when we encounter a situation like this, where we're using a word to mean a certain thing, and then someone interprets it differently than we're presenting it, it can lead to an issue. But I'm with you, Stephen. I have no qualms about saying, feeling broken, because, I mean, we have Princess put the definition here: broken, having been fractured or damaged and no longer in one piece or in working order, or of a person having given up all hope, despairing, having breaks or gaps in continuity. And those can all mean broken.
Well said,
And
yeah.
those, I've been in those positions before, having given up all hope, and being in deep despair. I've been there. Having breaks or gaps in continuity, absolutely. Not being in working order, absolutely. In fact, just to be honest with you guys, that was probably the biggest reason why I started down the path of seeking a therapist, was because I started to notice, with all the stuff that was happening and all the stuff that was like swirling around in my life, I started to notice that I was losing some of my functioning ability, in certain areas. And so it was like, okay, something's got to get figured out here. I need more than just myself on this, right? Like something needs to be, adjusted, and, I need to talk to somebody who knows about stuff. And so that, I think that was probably a good move. And I would encourage any of you, if you're feeling broken, if you're feeling like you're not functioning properly, or if you're feeling like you've given up all hope or despairing in any way, then sometimes seeking a professional is the best thing you can do, because they understand how our mind works. They understand also how our bodies work and how that affects our mind. One of the first things that this therapist did was she said, okay, I need you to make a doctor's appointment, and I'm going to have them run a battery of tests, a bunch of blood tests and stuff, because we're going to check your chemical balances and make sure there's nothing chemically going on that's affecting your mentality, because that definitely can play into things. I mean, if you're low in vitamin D, or if you're, she mentioned a whole bunch of different things. If you have deficiencies in different chemicals in your body, that can affect your mentality. I talked to another friend. We're a composite being. We're mind, body, and spirit. All of those. And when there's a problem in one area, it affects all of them. So if we're struggling with something mentally, it's going to affect us physically. It's going to affect us, spiritually. Ash had posted in the chat earlier about having an anxiety attack. That's an example of something mentally happening that creates a physical reaction, right? I don't know if you've ever had an anxiety attack. I've had them before. Your heart starts beating a lot really fast. You start getting shaky. Like your whole body kind of starts to get this, crazy feeling, and it's brought on by something mental. But it affects our physical being in the same way. Like having some kind of a mental issue, or actually my one of the guys that I talked to at church, he was talking about this concept, and he said, I was talking about how all this stuff going on was affecting my mentality, and then it was also affecting my prayer life, and my prayer life was suffering as a result. And so that's the spiritual dimension. And he said, if somebody has a broken arm and they're always in pain, and that pain is always in the forefront of their life because it's there all the time, they're going to have trouble being meditative. They're not going to be able to meditate and pray as well. They're not going to be able to sit there in silence and listen for the voice of God. They're going to be in pain. And it's the same with a mental issue as well. Like if there's something going on that's wrong, it's going to affect all that stuff. And so being broken to me is a lot like what Princess put it in there. I mean, losing functionality, giving up hope, all these things. And broken doesn't necessarily mean irreparable. Right?
Right.
Because you're absolutely right. A bowl can fall on the ground and it can break. And then, but is it repairable? Maybe. Depends on how many pieces it breaks into, right? I mean, probably it's always repairable. But, it just, is it worth repairing at that point? If it's broken into a million little pieces, are you really going to want to sit there and glue it all together? Or are you just going to go buy another bowl?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you might just use those broken bowl shards like Job did, and just use them to scrape the boils that were on his skin or whatever, because it was itchy or whatever. Yes, Princess, absolutely. Broken says nowhere in its definition that it's permanent. You're absolutely right. So just because we're broken doesn't mean that damage is permanent. And in fact, if you repair it properly, I've broken different things. Oh, there's this, I can't remember the type of glue we used to use for stuff, but when I was doing instrument repair, and a clarinet would come in and it'd be broken, right? we had this compound that we would use to put it back together and to get everything sealed up properly and to get it to be all put together again. And then if that clarinet came in broken again, it would be broken in a different spot.
Oh yes, because the glue is stronger than the. Yes.
Exactly. So a lot of times, like I said at the beginning, if we find ourselves in a broken state, it's not a cause for total despair, because your friend is right, Stephen. We can be repaired. We can fix the damage. And it might take a long time. It might be a painful process. It might require getting help. You know, there's all kinds of things. But if we can repair the damage properly, then that area of our life will be stronger than it ever was. That area that we were broken in. And it can be beautiful. And not only that, it's great because, I mean, being in that state of brokenness, when we're in it, it's hard and it's painful. And it's easy to feel hopeless. And it's easy to feel like this is just the way things are always going to be forever.
That's true.
You know, it is. But everything passes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. This too shall pass. I remember those 4 words have helped me out so many times. This too shall pass. This panic attack that I'm having where my heart's like racing and I can't sleep and I can't think right, you know, or, you know, maybe, you know, I had a recent experience where I just could not sleep at all. I ended up staying up all night. I just laid there awake. That's like the worst, by the way. I hate that.
Yeah.
You're just like,
feels
when you're laying there and you're just like, I need to be sleeping, and your brain's just going.
I've done that so many times.
You know,
that was my childhood.
Yeah. Yep. But those times, they build us in a way, in a couple ways. One, they strengthen us because when we can get over it, like I said, that repair will be stronger than it ever was originally.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we've been broken gives us a dimension of being able to assist others when they're broken as well. And I've definitely had people in my life, and I have people in my life that help me, you know, when I'm going through stuff. And the most effective people are the ones who have been through stuff before. Because they can really understand, oh my gosh, man, I know that is hard, that's painful, and they just like hug you and they, you know, they wrap you up with some love and, you know, help you understand it's going to be okay. And they know, I know this hurts. I know this is terrible. I know it is. And I'm sorry. There's not much I can do to take the pain away because it's just going to be painful. But you're not alone. And you can get through. And so it's a beautiful thing, you know, even though we always try to avoid painful experiences. Ryan has said this many times, you know, we try to avoid it. We label them as bad, you know, and we avoid them like the plague, you know, and it's crazy. But without the painful moments, would the beautiful moments be as beautiful?
It's like when you earn something because you worked hard for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's always better.
It is. Yep. It feels better. It's more valuable. So the state that you will be in on the other side of the brokenness will be of greater value to you than if you just experienced that bliss always. Right? So it's a beautiful thing that we go through these times of pain and sorrow and misery and suffering and all that. It's beautiful because then, you know, through that, we can experience more joy on the other side. And I'm proud of you, Stephen. I know what it's like. I know how it feels. It's tough. I mean, I might not know your specific situation, but I know the feeling, and it can be really hard. But it will pass, and you will find. I had a friend tell me, you're going to find a new okay, and it'll be a good thing. So, anyway, I'm proud of you, Steven. I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan. Ryan, have at it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm proud of you too, Steve. And I don't really have anything to add. I think that Joe, you did a great job covering, the suffering end of it and what it's like being broken and how to get through that. I think being with friends, like you said, is a great thing, because it allows you to engage in moving forward beyond what's causing you to break, through maybe leaning on people or maybe just experiencing new things. But yeah, and as far as language goes, I mean, I think I covered that pretty well. So yeah, I don't really have anything, but I'm proud of you, Steven. You're awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Steven, thank you very much for the topic. And whatever you're going through, you can make it. And hey, I know you and I DM on Discord a fair amount. If you feel like reaching out, go for it, man. I really appreciate you reaching out to me, anytime and every time. So anyway, thank you very much, Steven, for the topic, and we will move on to the next one. Let's see. Gabriel, I see your question. Are you guys taking any walk-in topics today? Oh, and there you go. Ryan just answered.
Yeah. I was trying to do it discreetly, but yeah.
Nope. No discreetness.
No discreet. Discretion should not sound like discreet. That's confusing.
It is. Yes. Because that doesn't. Discreetness and discretion are not the same thing.
Yeah, because yes, they are not. I try to do it with discreetness, not discretion. Is discreetness really even a word, though?
I don't think so.
That's the problem. I tried to do it with discreet.
Yeah, Princess might look it up for us at some point. But all right. So yes, Steven, again, thank you very much for the topic. You're amazing. And I look forward to hanging with you again, doing some gaming when we get to do that again. But anyway, I will go through the list again. And if you hear your name, let us know you're here. Ian Lam, Ezekiel Games, Drakon, LG, Toast, Immature Success, Joe B, Anonymous, Amira, Swilk, and Ash. And if you're still here, I know I saw Swilk earlier, and Ash, I saw you earlier. Well. Ash said, I think she'll be here, but
homework.
Yes,
okay,
that's right.
Yeah, she usually has to go partway through the stream and then comes back, so she's awesome.
Right. Gotcha. Hey, Swilk. All right.
Yo,
you're up next. So yes, we will do that topic. It's going to be good. Discretion. Here we go. Discretion. The quality of behaving or speaking in such a way to avoid causing offense or revealing private information. So actually, yeah, it is kind of like being discreet.
Yeah. So you did it with discretion.
No, you tried to do it with discretion, and I broke the discretion.
Yes. I'm sorry. I was just using the sentence. Yep, you're right.
Yes. All right. So anyway, there's the link. You can digress.
I digress.
Leave
another word.
Another word to describe what we do a lot on this show.
We're very good at it.
We are good at digressing. But anyway, there's the link, and it's from Swilk, also known as Matt, and you can go ahead and click the link, and it'll take you to the topic. And Princess, whenever you're ready, feel free to read it for us.
So this is side character from Matt. Hey friends, I haven't posted a topic here in a while, even though I wanted to for the last couple of weeks. It's just been that I have a lot of stuff on my mind lately, and a lot of it is tough to articulate. but I thought it best to just start untangling the thread of my thoughts from one end. That being said, lately I'm feeling a bit lonely. It's a specific kind of loneliness, though. And that is, I feel like I'm the only one who sees myself as something more than a character. For most of my friends and family, it's as if they see me as an archetype. Oh, he's the classic shy one, or the quiet one, or the lazy and mature one. Now, obviously, you guys understand me as more complex, but the people in my day to day life seem to look at me as, at best, a side character. And it's exhausting to me. I often feel like I want to rush inside my room, lock the door, and take a break from everyone. But that's not really going to solve the problem. And not only is people seeing me as a character exhausting, but it's also restrictive because I know to make others see me as more complex, I have to interact with them more and be kinder, more diligent, and determined. But if they keep labeling me as the shy kid and that's all he's ever going to be, then that's incredibly demotivating to me to even want to improve.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you'd have some wisdom to share on that. It would definitely help. Signed, Matt.
Wow. Well, thank you, Matt. Thank you for the topic, and I can definitely relate. Ryan wrote a song years and years and years ago called "Main Character." Was that on your old? Well, actually, that might be on this channel.
Yeah, I think it's on this channel.
I think it's on this YouTube
Yeah.
channel. There's a song called "Main Character" that Ryan wrote, and I got to play some instruments on. It was fun.
You sang too.
Oh yeah, and I sang. That's right. Thank you.
We both sang.
We did. Yep.
And it's an old one.
Yeah, that was, wow. What, 2010, 2011?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing.
Whatever. You can do it too.
Whatever, man. Don't judge me.
You knew what you were doing. Don't judge yourself. Hey, there's the link to that. So you can feel free to click on that. And then, and I will talk for as long as it takes to get through the song. That way you don't have to hear what I say. And when you come back, you'll go into what Ryan's saying. So that'll be good.
Wow.
But understand
5-minute discussion.
Understand something. You are the main character of your life. You are. Just because somebody might call you a side character or label you as something, that doesn't define who you are. That doesn't define what you're going to be. I know a lot of people. I remember, we were part of a company that was big into personal development, and you would be astounded at, the people who would raise through the ranks of leadership, and from where they started, because one of the main leaders of this organization started off as an engineer, super duper shy, very, very introverted, was labeled as far as being a people person, he was labeled number 48 out of 50, or no, 49 out of 50. As having as far as being on the scale of people skills. And they were basically like, okay, what you need to do is you need to get a job where you basically have your own little corner and you work on, designing parts. Like, that's what you do. Like, you're not going to have any dealing with peopleness in you.
You're not allowed to communicate with people anymore.
Right.
Don't do that.
Don't even try, right?
You're just hurting people. Stop it.
Yep. And he ended up with an organization of thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that respected him, that, that he would communicate well with, that he learned. But these are all skills, right?
Yeah. It was a community-driven business.
Mm-hmm.
And became a people person to do it.
Yep. From that to being a people person to then having this huge organization through the people skills that he developed. And it's not easy for someone who's naturally introverted to do that. But it is possible. So just because you're shy or just because you are seen as someone on the side or whatever, that doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. And in fact, learning from that position is one of the best places to start from, because you're going to learn all that it takes. People who are naturally good with people, I find most of the time they have blind spots that offend people. And they think they're good with people, and they are. Maybe they're extroverted. Maybe they feel naturally good around other people. They just feel like, hey, I can talk to people however. But because they don't feel like they have to improve. They, they end up hurting some people along the way. They might say some stuff that, would really be hurtful, or really be prideful, whatever. But someone who starts as an introvert and learns through that process and builds it up, they're going to be one of the best, because they had to learn every aspect, basically, if that makes sense. So anyway, thank you for the topic, and I'm going to turn it over to Ryan. Ryan, take it away.
Hey. Oh, thanks. I
You're
love
welcome.
that you opened up with an example of someone who is extremely successful in business, that is dealing with personal development and communication, and one-on-one, communication with people, and also speaking to large crowds, tens of thousands, also, 20s. Both of them are different atmosphere, right? Like if you ever been with a group of people and it's like 20 people and they're all looking at you, it's totally different than when you're on stage and there's like 10,000 people. You'd be like, what's scarier, being on stage or being in a group of like 20 people? For me personally, being on stage ain't nothing compared to being in a room with 20 people
I agree.
where I have to speak to them.
I agree. You can't see them when they're on stage. You just see lights.
Yeah, you can't see them when you're right. But that's not true for everybody. Some people, they get more caught up in the, it's, everyone has their own situations, but that person, super proud of them. They're very impressive, and it's amazing that they got that far being so bad from the start, right? So I think it's a great example, because it shows, hey, maybe you're shy, maybe you are the quiet one, maybe you're lazy and immature. Maybe those are true. I'm not going to say that they are, but whether they're true or not. Or maybe you don't know, and that's fine too. But ultimately, no matter where you're starting at, from either of those positions, you can change your scenario. You can change your situation. And so what you want to aim to do is do that, right? You're sick and tired of the way things are. And when you hate the way something is, you can either do two things to solve it, right? I got two ways to solve everything. If you hate it, you can either change what you hate, or you can change what you hate. Meaning, you can change the thing that you hate so that it's different and you no longer have to hate it because now it's different. Or you can change your brain and the way you perceive it so that you no longer hate those type of things, right? So I think sometimes, ultimately, the best solution is to do both. And that's quite a work. Now, not always. Some things should be hated, right? Some very immoral actions, right, should be hated. And that's good, right? But if it's, something like, people call me shy. Well, maybe you hate being called shy, right? Well, there's nothing wrong with them labeling you as shy. When people label each other, it's not always to diminish them. Sometimes they do it just to classify them so that they can understand that person better, or talk to that person a certain way, or interact with that person in a specific way. They label you that way so that they can differ from other people, right? You're the shy one, so that means this person is not like you. This person over here who is shy, they are like you, right? And so they're just trying to identify you. Here's the thing, though. Don't let, as you clearly stated in your topic here, you can't let the identifications put you down to say this is all you are, right? You might be shy right now, but it doesn't have to stay that way, right? And you might be shy, but there's nothing morally wrong with that also, right? If you say, oh, I hate when people call me shy. Well, think about this. Do you hate when other people call other people shy? Do you hate when you think of someone and you think that they're shy? It's like a double standard, right? To think, oh, I know this girl and she's really shy, like me. Well, you don't want to hate that attribute. It's just an attribute, right? Yeah, I think it's not a title. It's just an attribute. And so we can change those attributes, but we shouldn't despise them because that's all they are, attributes, which are susceptible to change. So what I would do if I were you is I would come to the terms with the fact that, okay, if I'm shy, if that's true, then that's the reality. That's what I am, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being shy, right? But if I'm tired of being the shy one, if I have something inside of me that's screaming, hey, I want to be more. I'm done with being shy. I'm done with being less, right? Because a lot of times shy means you're not engaging. A lot of times shy means you're holding back. A lot of times shy is a lesser form of what you're capable of when it comes to interacting with people, when it comes to your relationships with people, right? Because if you're shy, you don't speak your mind. You're not able to engage with people fully. So yeah, it is a limiter. Is that a problem? Well, if there's something inside of you saying, hey, that's a problem, I want to be more, then that's excellent. That means there's something inside of you that's saying, this isn't all that I have to offer. This isn't me. This isn't the full me. This is me being held back. And I get the fact that when people think of you that way, it doesn't compel you to want to act, right? They call you lazy, immature, quiet, whatever, and it makes you feel diminished. Well, rather than feeling diminished, take it as a challenge. There's a certain type of personality that we can all learn from. They're called cholerics. And cholerics are great. Now, every personality is great. Every personality has its problems. But the choleric personality is one that says, like, basically, don't tell me I can't be this because I will become that. Don't tell me I can't do this because I will do that, right? Just to prove you wrong. Just to prove, not necessarily just to prove you wrong, but to prove I can. Just to prove I'm capable. And sometimes that challenging attitude is something we need to adopt in ourselves. If we are reserved, right? A lot of times we don't have that sort of mentality. We just kind of take a beating and say, okay, I'll continue on with it's like, oh no, you gave me a cut. I'll keep on walking. But a cleric would be like, you gave me a cut? Excuse me? I'm gonna cut you back.
I'm gonna cut you twice.
I'm gonna cut you twice. Right. Sometimes we need to adopt a little bit of another personality. Not to say we need to change who we are and our personality entirely, but that other personalities have skills that we can learn, right? They have attributes which we can improve upon if we observe them and act on those. So sometimes we need a little bit of that challenge, take it on. I'll take it on kind of that, how do you say that? Mentality, right? So when someone says that you're shy or you're quiet or you're lazy and immature, be like, okay, let's fix that. Let's go. Let's do it. What do I do right now to prove them wrong? Start doing that. Now, it doesn't mean get up in their face and be aggressive or angry. It doesn't always have to look like that. Sometimes it can, but it doesn't always have to. It can be gentle. It can be soft and relatable. But a lot of it is just getting out of your comfort zone. Doing the things that you want to do, but you're too scared to do or too shy to do. It's like you see someone and maybe they're wearing a watch that tells you something about them. Like, oh, it's a Pokemon watch, right? And maybe you're really into Pokemon. Or actually, Swoke, maybe they're wearing a watch and it has Sonic on it. So you see them from across the room. I say Sonic because you have a picture of Tails on your thing, so I know you like Sonic.
Mm.
Maybe it's a picture of Tails is on their shirt, and you look at them, you're like, man, I really want to talk to them. And that's all you ever say. You never do it. You just look at them, you're like, that's cool. They have Tails. I want to say hi, because we were late. Like, I love Tails. I don't know my weakness. Yeah. So like, imagine that scenario, right? Maybe you're in Walmart or something, anywhere, right? Maybe you're sitting at school, wherever you are. You see someone and they're wearing a shirt and it has Tails on it, and you get that feeling like, man, I really just want to go talk to them. I want to compliment them on their shirt. I want to get up in a conversation about, Sonic, because that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But you're shy, and so you don't. Fight that. When you see that and you were like, and you start to feel that pull of like, oh geez, no, I'm I don't really want to do that. I'm scared. I don't know. Maybe they'll think I'm weird or whatever. Just ignore all those thoughts. The point is you have to get outside your comfort zone. So what you've just been given is an opportunity to get outside your comfort zone. So go out and talk to that person. Nothing bad's going to happen. When you say, you have Tails in your shirt, that's awesome. Tails is my favorite Sonic character, or whatever. They're going to be happy to hear that. We're always worried that we're just going to come off weird or whatever. But even if you come off weird, they're still happy you mentioned something. They're still happy you came to them. And that's how you make friends in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you prove you're not shy. If you can do those bold acts, and eventually you'll come to a point where that's not even bold to you anymore. You're just like, no, I do that normally. That's like not a big deal. There's not really a big deal to talk to somebody, and people won't think you're shy anymore. And so that's really all it is finding those opportunities to take a step outside your comfort zone and act boldly, act unshy, act loud, act, what's the opposite of lazy and immature? Active and mature.
Act active.
Act active and mature. Activate your active action. Anyways, yeah, really, that's all there is to it. If you're tired of being that way, change isn't difficult. The idea of change is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of the times the hardest part to get over.
Agreed.
Is the idea of change.
Mm-hmm.
That's where our emotions are fed. Like, they're like, you want me to change? Like, our emotions just explode. Like, retreat, run. Please don't tell me to do anything different. Like, I'm not changing. I don't wanna. Everything's fine the way it is, even if it's broken. Done with this conversation. It's over.
Yes.
Good night.
Yes.
But no. Change is opportunity for growth. That's what growth is. It's change. So we have to get over the idea, that hold up. Change, here's the thing. Change is not difficult. Change is going to be happening either way. No matter what you do in life, it's always changing. Life is always changing. It's going to be happening no matter what. But you get to pick which way you change based on the choices you make. Right? So what choices are you going to make? Are you going to make those choices where you step outside your shell? You become a man and just do it. Except that, because the other way is you start changing the opposite direction. You think that you're shy now. Keep acting shy. You'll find out how shy you can become. You're going to be changing. You're either going to get more shy or less. Just the truth. Now, again, it's nothing entirely immoral about being shy. There's nothing immoral about being shy at all. Jesus never condemned someone who was like, oh, they're shy, they're going to hell. In fact, Jesus never said to anyone straight out, it's going to hell. All right. So don't worry about being shy, it's not a bad attribute. A lot of times, like, there's a lot of people who look at shy people and go, wow, that's super cute. Or, wow, I want to really get to know them because they seem really sophisticated. Shy people are often really sophisticated because they're in their heads thinking 1,000 things a minute, and they're not letting it out because they're thinking too much. They've got too many thoughts in their head to even talk. So they're really sophisticated.
Mhm.
And that's shy people. That's true. And so again, it's not wrong to be shy. But if there's something in you screaming like, hey, I want to be that main character, I want to get out in that spotlight, I want people to see me different. Well, people will see you how you are. That's not true. People will see you how they see you. Regardless of how you are. But you prove to them who you are by being who you are in their presence. And I mean, that's so true in my life. People will see me for the first time, see I have long hair, and they'll be like, oh, look at that hippie, or look at that druggie, look at that hobo, you know? And then I'll talk to them for like 12 seconds and completely reframe their mind about who I am. And they'll be like, that guy's great. Nah, I bet you he's not a hippie at all. He's not a druggie at all. He would never do drugs. It's like, you talk for me for 12 seconds, you think I would never do drugs. But you're right. Because I present myself very openly and I'm just me. And it shows, right? It shows in the way that I speak. It shows in the way that I move. It shows very clearly because I'm not afraid to show those things. So I'm not saying be like me, but I'm saying be the best you. Be the you want to be. Because that a lot of times is the best you. And that goes for everybody out there. The best you is usually the you want to be, the you see like your hero being. Pursue that. Act like that. Pretend to be that way until that is you. But yeah, that's what I got. I hope that is helpful. Hope that is inspiring. And I hope that when you encounter these type of things in your life, you come to challenge them for what they are, opportunities to grow and change in a forward direction, rather than being called shy and feeling diminished, like, oh, they don't care about me, so why should I act any special to them now? You know, they said something mean, so now I'm stuck in my own head thinking about all the mean things they said, rather than getting out there and showing that I'm not shy. You know, you have a really smart brain and you think a lot, and that's great. So now that you know these things, and you probably knew everything I just said, but now that we talked it out, don't let those moments cause you to retract. Let those moments compel you and say, oh, that's who you think I am? Just watch. Just watch me. All right. Joe, it's on you.
It's on me.
It's on you.
Yeah. All right.
Spotlight.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I don't, sometimes I love what you were talking about, Ryan, because personality does play a big part in some of these things, like how we our natural personality makeup, if you will. There are lots of different, formulas out there that tell you, what type of personality you are. If you go by one, I'm a C, cautious personality. Another one would call me melancholy. Myers-Briggs calls me INFJ. Like there's all kinds of different, designations for personality types, right? But either way, those personality types aren't necessarily there for us to be handicapped by them or held back by them, and to just say, well, that's just how I am, so that's the way that it is. No, what it is, it's a way for you to know yourself, and so you can know where you're strong and where you're not so strong. And so those areas that are not necessarily strengths, you can improve upon. And sometimes our strengths are too strong.
That's true. That's true.
And we need to dial them back, or else we're unrelatable. You know what I mean? And then we make people feel uncomfortable because our strengths are so strong. Like, okay, And in this case, you know, if people are seeing you as shy and lazy, I'm guessing that you're an introvert.
Probably
would-
phlegmatic.
Yep,
Maybe not.
probably,
Though.
possibly. I don't know. You're very artistic. And here, let me tell you something. You know, people generally tend to look at people as, you know, how much value can they bring to society? And then they have this view of society as, you know, well, you got to have this decent kind of job and you got to make a certain amount of money. And the threshold is different depending on what type of family you're in or what type of neighborhood you live in or what type of whatever, you know, like, I mean, there's just like, there's a subculture that you live in that has a certain unspoken standard for how they view a valuable person in society, right? But that doesn't mean squat. That's opinion. And labels are just labels. We talked in the last topic about being broken. Being broken doesn't necessarily mean permanent. A label is not permanent. A label can be taken off and changed and a new label put on. And then, see, here's the amazing thing. If you change your label, you freak people out. In a good way. In a good way. You don't freak them out thinking, oh my gosh, they're scared of you. No, you freak them out and like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe you were there and now you're here. Like, this is incredible. Right? Like the example I told you about the introverted guy who then rose through ranks of leadership and created a successful company. All that stuff, right? But I'll tell you what. Right down here, actually. Your artwork is right there.
Boom. It's compressed, but it is yours.
That feather. Yep. This is the case for the Criminal Idol Season 1 flash drive. Comes in this cool wood box, and it has some of Swilk's artwork on there.
Actually, the V, the SS, the dots in between that line and the things on the side, all of that is Swilk. That whole thing is made by Swilk. The only thing is I took it and I cut out, because it actually said black, static, and swerve written out, and I just cut those parts out and I squashed it. Everything in there is Swilk's.
Yep. Boom chakalaka. Exactly. And that feather, I put that feather on a t-shirt. I'm the only person that has that t-shirt.
That's true.
But I love that feather.
That feather is awesome.
Love it. And you're a tremendous artist. And that's valuable in maybe a different group of people, right? So really, our value, you know, whether it's amazing. It just kind of depends on where we're at and the type of people we're around. I'm a musician. I'm a decent musician. People like having me around when, you know, they're musicians and they're looking for a drummer or they're looking for, you know, a guitarist or whatever, and they want somebody to play with them, and they're like, hey, you know, I become an important person to them. I become more than just a side character. If I'm hanging around a bunch of doctors,
they want you out of the room.
They sometimes.
Just kidding.
Unless I'm going to pay them, then they want me in the room, right?
Yeah. No, they want to get you out of that room nice and fixed.
Yep. If I'm oh man, if I'm around my in-laws, that's totally different, right? There's all kinds of stuff. So our label can be, it kind of depends on the company we're in as well, right? So if we have a bunch of people we're surrounded by in our IRL life, and they see us as this side character, shy person, whatever, right? Okay. But that's just what they see. That's what Ryan was talking about. People see what they see. They don't see the whole picture. They don't know that your artwork has been engraved, laser engraved on an item and shipped all around the world.
All around the world.
All around the world. Even to the Faroe Islands.
Yep. That was a hard one. That was expensive.
That was an expensive
We paid more than we got on that one.
Yes, for that shipment. That was amazing. Excuse me. But anyway, I got to tell you, so really it's a subjective thing. Now, if you want to get better at not being shy, for someone who's an introvert, what I had to do is treat it like an experiment. I had to take myself out of the context of, oh, I'm dealing with another person, and put myself in the context of, I'm doing an experiment. I'm going to say something, and I'm going to see the response. And I'm going to see what happens, right?
Totally.
And so then it got a lot easier. But then when you treat it like that, you're not so hung up on if you offend somebody or you make them mad or they don't respond the way you want them to or whatever. You're just, hey, you know what? It's just data I'm putting on my little experiment sheet here, right? And so you get data and then you can refine your approach. So it's so funny because I could be having the worst possible day and I'll get a call from a client and they'll be like, hey, Joe, how's it going? And I'll be like, oh, you wouldn't even believe it. That's my token response. And you know what's hilarious? They're like, you're always doing so good when we call.
They can take it however you want. Well, it's the way that you say it. You say it with a smile.
That's true. That's probably true. I'm like, you wouldn't even believe it.
Yeah. That's so great.
And because they would, and I didn't even have to say I was good or bad or, I didn't have to say anything. I just say, you wouldn't even believe it. And I came to that approach, through some experimenting. And also the approach I use when I talk to somebody at a gas station or whenever, at a counter, I always ask, hey, are you having fun in here? Are you having fun in here today? And there was a gal, she was great. I was in there the other day and I said, hey, you having fun in here today? She said, oh yeah, it's amazing time. And I'm like, that's awesome. She's like, totally feels like Tuesday at 9 a.m. because it was Tuesday at 9 a.m.
That's great.
And I was like, oh, that's crazy how that works.
Feels like it is. Whoa.
Feels like exactly what it is.
Seems like you got a good grasp of reality right now.
That's right. But anyway, but these are things that you can do and you can, it's just little tweaks. But I tell you, you can be not talkative and still be not shy. See, a lot of times when we think of a person who's shy, we think, okay, they're just not very talkative, right? But if you can get good at asking questions, if you can get good at asking one question and then asking why in different ways, like, why is that? Really? Why is that? Oh, really? And draw people out as they talk. They won't see you as shy anymore. They will see you as the greatest conversationalist in the world. Because what's everybody's favorite topic? Themselves. Exactly. Everybody's favorite topic is themselves. And so if you get somebody to talk about themselves and are interested in hearing about them talk about themselves, they're going to love you. They're not going to see you as shy. They're going to see you as, man, I want to spend as much time as I can around this person. They make me feel good about myself because they're interested in me and they wanted me to talk. Breaking the ice is the hardest part. And that sometimes can get us labeled as shy and as a side character if we have a hard time breaking the ice. Now, in the book, How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People by Les Giblin. I will promote that book once again for the 500 millionth time on this show. We haven't even done that many shows, but I know I've promoted that book a zillion times. But in that book, he talks about that whole condition, the condition of breaking the ice. And part of it is just experimenting with different things to say. And also, I heard a guy talking one time and he said, become a prodigious noticer. So if you can notice the conditions of the world around you and point them out to people, it can be a great way to break the ice. The cliche ones are, like, oh, how about the weather today? Or how about did you guys see the game last night? Or whatever, like all this stuff, right? There's different ways to break the ice. But I think some of the best ways are to notice something going on, like, like if you're somewhere and there's a leak in the ceiling and you're like, oh, I wonder what that's all about. And you can get somebody talking about that, and then you'll get them talking about their job because maybe they're a construction person and they know how to fix it, but nobody's going to ask them because hey, whatever, blah blah blah, and and you can get people talking and stuff. It can be really, really fun. I know this isn't necessarily a talk about overcoming your fear of breaking the ice or not being shy. Really, it's about the label. And I'm telling you, just because a certain group of people thinks of you as a side character, one, it doesn't mean that you are in everybody's circle. To me, you're not. To me, you're a tremendous graphic artist.
Mm-hmm.
And
more.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And, like I'm telling you, it's tough when we're in that group of people to not get hung up into what they say. But then sometimes it's good to remove yourself and go to where your label is different. I can't remember. I think it was President Ronald Reagan back in the 80s. I remember hearing this story where he was on his campaign, and he was in his coach or his bus or whatever the heck they were in, whatever. And they were driving, and something happened, and he was in the newspapers. And in the newspapers, they were bashing him and slamming him and all this stuff and blah 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 blah. This decision was horrible, whatever, blah blah blah. And one of his staff members pointed out the thing, and they were pulling up to this campaign stop where he was going to be speaking. And they were like, "Did you see this thing in the paper?" He's like, "No, I'm not going to read that. Those people don't like me." And then he pointed out the window. "Those people like me. I'm going to go talk to them." So sometimes it's just changing the group of people that you're around, right? Because that can make all the difference. And it can help you inside to know, yes, Matt, you are important. You're important to a lot of people. And even though they might label you a certain way, also, that doesn't mean you're not important to them. It just means that's how they see you right now. That's okay. Because like we said on the previous topic, those things can change. We can change. The current situation can change. Like Ryan said, what was it? You can either change what you hate or change what you hate.
Right. Yep.
And so you can either change the thing or you can change how you think about the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Being shy can be very valuable. You might come across as mysterious. That can be fun.
True.
Hmm. I remember hearing that about somebody told me that somebody said that about me, because I was quiet. I didn't really have very many friends, and I was pretty quiet, and I didn't say much, and I remember my bass player in one of my bands, he came up to me and he said, "Yeah, this girl was talking to me about you." She said, "Yeah, he's just so mysterious."
That's awesome.
And I was like, "Cool." Did
Yeah.
did she think it was hot? Like
She like mysterious. So
Did she, right, exactly.
you think it's Does she like mysteries?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yes, I never met this girl, so I don't know for
yeah.
sure what all that meant. But anyway, with that, I've talked for a long time. Hopefully, some of that was helpful. But I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan. Do you have anything else, Ryan?
No, I really don't have anything. I think that we covered a pretty good amount of it.
Awesome, awesome. I think so too. Matt, thank you so much for the topic. Thank you for
Hmm.
your graphic design mind. Thank you for being who you are. You're a tremendous, tremendous addition to the world. And thanks for being here and thanks for sharing. So hopefully some of that can help. And awesome, awesome. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the topic. So let us move on. Ash, are you still here? I hope so. Maybe. I know I saw a thing in the chat that Ash, you were done doing homework because your mind couldn't take it anymore.
Relatable.
And you drew a good
That's
chin.
the moment. That's the moment I pull the sheet of homework out for me. It's
Yeah.
like I pull the ah. Now I'm done. I can't do that. Let's do something else. I've caved already.
Oh,
A
nice.
bad example. Oh, great.
Wonderful.
Great eye there, friend.
How about that?
Sometimes that happens. So,
Yep.
Ash, are you with us? I don't see Ash responding. Okay, so Gabriel Falk submitted the topic and in the forums. Okay.
Meow also said you put one in there. When was it and what is it called?
Yeah, good question.
Oh, I apologize. I just didn't see it unless it's.
Yeah, we might not know the name that it's under as well.
Yes, that could be very helpful.
Had we not covered that?
A song for a friend. Did we do that last on the last show?
Not in the Dante catalog. Perhaps not. Somehow I thought we had.
Okay. Well, we can do it now. It was posted last week. So it would be in line for sure.
Oh, okay. I did find great Gabriel's as well.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
All right.
The other thing I would ask is whether or not Gabriel can make it next time, because if not, it might be better knowing that
Yeah, Meow's
walk in, and Meow tends to be a regular. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm trying to, nope, I'm not trying to be rude to your topic now, but
yeah,
that is a very good consideration.
Mm-hmm.
This is just something I thought should be brought up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what, Meow, if you would be not offended, then I think. Oh, we did. Did we do sinking last week? Maybe that's the one we did.
Yeah, we did.
Been that.
Okay.
We could do that one.
Okay, so a song for a friend.
Was that
All
last
right.
week? No, that was 2 weeks ago now.
Well, that's when it was posted, but I don't know if we.
I think we
two
did it
No,
the
it
week
was
that I
2
supposed
weeks
to-
ago.
We did it
Huh.
2
Oh,
weeks
okay.
ago. I'm
Because
pretty
last
sure.
week was avoiding questions in my head.
Yes. Well, all right. I'm the host. I get to pick. So, Gabriel, you are up. So, welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. I don't think is this your first time at being at Don't Worry Wednesday? And I think it might be your first topic.
It certainly is first.
PBO. Yeah.
Yeah.
You listened to some. Okay. Cool. Listen to some. Just haven't probably chatted much. And that's
Okay.
totally cool.
Awesome.
Not a problem at all.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Well, let's do this topic by Gabriel.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for submitting a topic.
Mhm.
It's called Best Friend Drifting Away, Lost Trust. Oh, you were way back when it was pre-recorded. Pre-recorded Don't Worry Wednesdays.
Ah.
That was before me.
Wow. Wow, Gabriel. Welcome back. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yep. So Princess has the link there in the chat. You can feel free to click it and read along as Princess reads it for us. So Princess, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, so this is Best Friend Drifting Away, Lost Trust. Here's the gist of my situation. I was best friends with a girl for 5 years, all of high school, plus even when we went to different colleges. We would always be talking to each other and find different excuses to make conversation just because we like talking to each other. I haven't had many friends, but I can confidently say she was my closest and best friend for all of the 5 years. In fact, for the first 2 years of high school, she was my only friend outside of school, in the sense that we would seek each other out just because we liked each other. Throughout the years, we would tell each other that we would always bring up anything we were troubled with each other. For example, if we felt distance, annoyed by something, or something else. Essentially, we told each other what we would always put in the effort to communicate and work through our problems. Until approximately August, we would do exactly that, and we would always tell each other everything about our lives. Starting in August, I noticed that she started pulling away entirely. Over the next 1.5 months, I kept asking if there was anything wrong and told her I was being affected by the changes I've been noticing. This week, I decided to confront her about the sudden change of behavior. She said that over the summer, she was getting irked by little things I was doing, but never felt like it was significant enough to talk about. But the little things snowballed together until she didn't want to talk to me anymore, even though I'd been asking her if there was anything, and she had said no every time. She told me she doesn't want to lose me as a friend, but she doesn't want to put in time/energy into our friendship anymore. To me, it sounds like she wanted to be on good times, but she wanted to be uninvolved in my life. She also tried to make it seem like she was pulling back from everyone, not only me. But I know that wasn't the case because her friends say that she was always inviting them to do things or text or call. Because she's been treating me like a stranger and lying to my face, I've lost all trust in her. I've come to the point that I've accepted that I've lost my best friend, and that's just life. My closest friends have been trying to help me, and I appreciate it immensely. But even though I know I have a handful of people who truly care about me, whereas she doesn't anymore, it still feels like I have a hole in my life. I've always tried to make sure my close friends were people I want lifelong friendships with, but it feels like I trusted her too much to care since we were always just friends. I feel like I shouldn't try to rush through processing this, but I've lost all motivation to do homework. I've lost my appetite, and I barely get out of my room other than to exercise a little. From Gabriel.
Gabriel, thank you. My heart goes out to you. I know what this feels like. I know it's hard, and to feel an emptiness where you had such a vibrant, wonderful friendship for a long time, and then all of a sudden to that be gone. Especially in this case, where there's some untruths being told. There's other stuff. Man, I'm sorry. It hurt me to read it as Princess was reading it, because, man, that's tough. And I really hope that we have something that can help, at least encourage you. I know that I've been in this situation before where I've lost friends, and it does leave a hole. It does. There's no getting around it. um, we just sometimes it just hurts. And over time those hurts can heal. But especially right now when they're new and it's fresh and it's, recent, it can really put a spin on our lives. And like you said, to lose all the motivation to do homework, you lose your appetite, and I mean, you don't want to do anything or go anywhere. I totally understand. Um, so my heart goes out to you, and I'm gonna get out of Ryan's way because he always has such wonderful, comforting words, and wise ones at that. So Ryan, take it
Oh,
away.
I appreciate it. I would try. Anyways,
Mhm.
yeah. Thank you so much for posting this, Gabriel. One thing I want to say off the bat is that I'm proud of you. I really like this line. I've always tried to make sure my close friends were people that I want, or sorry, people I want lifelong friendships with. I think that's great. Um, it says a lot about you and your personality and how you think about things. Um, that you don't just get into a relationship with someone to be fickle or to have a good time for a couple of days and leave them. You want a sort of commitment from both sides. You want someone that can be your companion, you can trust, you can invest in, and those investments come back in joy and in love and in sincerity. And that's great. Um, and then you followed it up with, but it feels like I trusted her too much to care since we were always just friends. And I think that's an interesting line. I think it's super relatable when you are betrayed by someone that you care a lot about and they seem to no longer care about you. It, of course, it hurts like a lot. It can make you break down in such a way that you can think of nothing else but this scenario and figuring out, how do I fix it? How do I get her back? What do I say? What do I do to, um, make it all okay again? And what do I do to get her interest again? Your brain is going a million miles an hour saying, what went wrong? How do I fix it? Um, but I want to encourage you a little bit and say, don't let it make you build a wall where you didn't have a wall before. You know, trust is an important thing. And if this relationship closing down causes you to lose trust in her, that's fine. But if it causes you to think that you can't trust people who are just friends as much anymore, if it causes you to worry it's going to happen again with your other friends, unfortunately, you're going to be building walls and you're not going to be as close with your friends that do exist now because you're going to be worried about getting hurt, which means you aren't going to be as open as you used to be. Um, and so I want to try to just for a second make that known that even that might not be what you are doing. I just want to put that out there to make you wary of that. Don't don't be afraid of trust. Don't stop trusting the friends you already have. Like you said, your close friends have been trying to help you, and you appreciate it immensely. Don't let your trust with them diminish. They are their own people, and just because you got hurt once doesn't mean that you need to build up a wall. In fact, the opposite. When you get hurt, a lot of times that struggle, that feeling, that experience is what builds you, right?
Mm.
And you know that to be true in your life. It's true in all of our lives. So the most amazing thing is this: when you love someone, right? And I'm talking about like a friendship kind of love, a love that is to desire the best for someone, right? And having that will to get them that best, right? To be willing to act on that, right? That's love. That's beautiful. When something happens which challenges your love and you let it conquer you, your ability to love diminishes. But if something happens to question your love and to attack your love, like a fleeting friend, trust that's fallen, whatever it is, when it challenges your love and you allow it to hurt you, but then you move forward, what happens is your ability to love increases. That's right. Your strengthened ability, your ability to love is strengthened. You have more potential to love. You have more capacity to give and to love because you've been through hard times which challenge your love. Now, that doesn't mean, oh, this is a challenge, I have to go chase her. No, because here's the thing. It's very natural for people to move on. It is. It's very natural for people to have a feeling for a really long time and that feeling fades. And a lot of people just chase their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this world, 99% of this world, and the decisions people make, a lot of times is really guided by their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, well, there's a lot of logical people out there too, right? Well, surely. But they have an emotional attachment to their logic.
Mm-hmm.
Most people do.
Mm-hmm.
It's much harder when you don't. When you don't have an emotional attachment to logic and you say, you know what, but this is right, I'm going to do it. Or I'm not going to do that, even though I really want to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a hard thing. So understand, she probably didn't mean any harm towards you. You know, she doesn't want the worst for you. She doesn't hate you. She just doesn't feel, right? It's a feeling that she wants to be around you and she wants to be elsewhere. Now, there's nothing wrong with having that feeling. And more importantly, there's nothing wrong with you for her having that feeling. That's important to know. There's nothing wrong with you for her to have that feeling. You could be perfection itself, and you could do everything perfectly. In fact, I mean, I don't know if you believe in God or not, but that's the walk of life that Jesus took. You know, people betrayed him. A lot of people wanted him dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And they succeeded.
yeah, and they succeeded
for a few days.
Lots of people followed him and then chose not to follow him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you believe in God, that is, if you believe in Jesus, rather, Jesus was a historical, real figure. But I mean, if you believe of him as God, as in he was a perfect being, if you, etc., you get my point.
Yes.
Even the best of the best, even if you could score the highest possible ranking on, I am the best with people possible, you cannot control other people's feelings. But no matter, like, you can inspire feelings, but only to an extent. Eventually those emotions, they run dry for that person, and then they are no longer compelled by emotion. And so then relationships fall apart, and it happens to everybody. And sometimes it happens in swings, where it happens for a moment and then they'll come back and they'll be like, hey, yo, what's up? Like it never happened.
What's up with your mom
And
and
they're
dad?
all there for you again. Huh?
What's up with your mom and dad?
Well, yo, what's up with your mom and dad? Right? We'll just drop a yo, what's up with your mom and dad in the chat. And yeah, anyways, my point is, don't even begin to blame yourself as though you had done something wrong to make her feel like she doesn't care anymore. Caring for a lot of people is an emotion, not a commitment. And when this scenario has happened to you, now you have the ability to recognize, when I care for people, it's not just an emotion like this other person did for me. I care for people unconditionally. I care for people regardless of my emotion. I care for people regardless of logic, even. I care for people because of value, because they're important. Yeah. Yeah, awesome, Gabriel. So just don't think about you being a problem in this. This happened to me in a relationship I had, me and this girl, we dated for 4.5 years. And then she slowly just stopped talking to me more and more and more. And one time I went to go meet her. She lived in Canada, and this is the first time I had ever met her after all like 4.5 years. So I was driving up to Canada to meet her, and we were going to meet at an anime convention. So I got there, and I never saw her. And so I called her up and I said, "Hey, we were supposed to meet there." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I went." I was like, "Oh, where were you?" And she's like, "Oh, I was hanging with my friends and I didn't want to make them feel awkward because it was their first time ever going to a convention. And so I just kind of hung out with them in the store in the convention." And I was like, "Yeah, cool. That was my first convention too. But all right, cool. Hey, since we didn't get to meet up, can I like come over to your house or something?" She's like, "Let me ask my parents." So she asked her parents. They said yes. So I came over. And then I spent a week there getting to know. It was awesome. Just out of nowhere, like just showed up, spent a week there, and everybody loved me. I loved all of them. They were awesome family.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back, and 2 weeks later, she dumped me. And she said that, well, she thinks she just doesn't love me anymore. And I was like, "You don't love me anymore? What do you mean?" She's like, "I don't know. I just don't feel the same way as when we first started dating." And that's it all, right? Because she was chasing a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, a lot of people's lives. And that's okay. Is it wrong? No. But is there something better? Yes. However, I wouldn't say, "Oh, she should have married me." No, totally not. She should be on her own way. She should go wherever she so desires, right? Her desires are important. And so I respect that she doesn't necessarily want to marry me. Totally cool. Many, 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 many years ago, right? Um, and I have no desire to be in a relationship with her. But the point is, people's emotions towards things change. People's perceptions of things change, and so it's not anybody's fault that happens. It happens to all of us,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a very natural part of life. But the question is, when that happens to you, when your perceptions change about someone, when your feelings change about someone, when someone makes you angry or annoyed, how is your love? It's through these moments, like I said before, that our love has the ability to expand. Our capacity to love increases by the amount that we struggle for it, or the amount that we struggle because of it, so long that we do not allow the struggle to force our love to diminish. If we encounter a scenario where our love, where it's really hard on us and we choose, "Okay, I'm just not going to love anymore," right? And I'm talking about love as in to desire the best for someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that happens and we're just like, "Nah, I don't really care about them anymore," that's fine. But if you say, "Nah, I don't really like them anymore, and I'm not going to pay attention to them anymore, I don't want," etc. That's some of that is okay, but most of that is like, yeah, you've chosen to basically let it defeat you. You let it defeat your love for the other person. You let it defeat your friendship, right? Some friendships, they can't be helped, but because it's a two-sided coin, right? There's nothing you can do except for let them go, right? In some cases. But if they're not letting go, right? Or even if they are letting go and you experience a problem which causes you to suffer for the sake of love, and you allow that suffering to make you close off, to stop trusting people, then you've let your love diminish rather than grow when you were given the opportunity to let it grow. So make sure you choose the high road and to continue to be open, because here's the thing: trust is an amazing thing, but the capacity for people to trust is often not how trustworthy the other person is. The capacity for which people have the ability to trust is how much they trust themselves, knowing that whatever they can do to me is okay because my life is secured in me and in God, right? People can break me down. People can say all sorts of bad things to me about me that were, and they used to be my friends, whatever, right? But I'm willing to let that happen to get close to them. Because a lot of times the victory is mine when I do that.
Mm.
And if they break my trust, then I can prove to myself again, hey, look, I'm still standing on 2 feet. Even if they did that to me. Look at me. Who cares? I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to shut everybody else off just because this person did this to me, right? So it makes you feel stronger. It makes you realize that you're actually very strong when other people break your trust and you're still standing on 2 feet and you choose to trust other people. It's an amazing experience. So take this as an opportunity. But anyways, sorry, I talked for a really long time. I know Gabriel has a little additional information.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, Princess posted it in our chat.
Oh, that was a synopsis.
Oh, that's a synopsis. Yeah. Never mind. That's a synopsis. That's a synopsis.
Right on.
All right, cool. But anyways, yeah, on to you, Joe. I'm sorry for talking so long on that one.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm repeating myself.
You're fine. And I love what you were getting at because that's really true. Right at the end there, when you were talking about, people can do whatever they will because I know that I'm secure in myself and in God, right? Like when we can reach that point and be at that level, that's a great spot to be in, and we can trust then, right? Now, I know I don't know, Gabriel, if this situation has hurt your trust in everybody or just your trust in her. But you can trust her to do what she's going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's honestly, I've kind of come to that conclusion with people that, I can trust them to be people. And some people I trust to be a really close friend of mine. I mean, like Ryan, we're very close friends.
You too.
And he's one of my closest confidants, right? And so like we'll talk about stuff. We don't have to talk like all the time, but when we talk, we have really good conversations, and I'm willing to share pretty much every detail about what's going on, right? And it's great to have friendships like that. And it's great to have multiple friendships like that. So you've had this friendship with this girl who that was kind of the case. Like you guys were really close. You'd talk about everything, like it was really, really close bond that you had, right? And I would encourage you to see if you can find other friends that you can share that type of stuff with, that you can share that close. Because sometimes people aren't available. Sometimes people go their own way. Sometimes people get, a goal or a dream and they run off in that direction, and then you don't hear from them hardly at all. And then who knows what's going to happen, right?
A lot of times it's not that they don't care about you anymore. It's that they suddenly care about something else a whole lot.
Yep. And it's a little bit suspicious, the scenario that you laid out here, to me when I was thinking, over the summer, she was getting irked by little things I was doing. Never felt like it was significant enough to talk about. Little things snowballed until she just didn't want to talk to me anymore, even though I've been asking her, and she said no every time. It just, to me, I don't know. I mean, that could be totally legit. Or it could just be a reason she's throwing out there, right? I don't know. I don't know for sure. But it's a lesson in when you're dealing with someone that's that close and they're doing little tiny things that irk you, address them while they're small. A tree is easy to get rid of when it's this big. You can just pluck it out of the ground, stomp on it, light it on fire, stab it, whatever you want to do, right? When it's a big tree,
stab it. Tree this big. Yeah. It's just gonna go.
Stab it with a number 2 pencil.
Oh yeah, there you go. That'll do the trick.
Um, or, but when it's a big tree, it's a lot harder to get rid of, right? It's a lot harder to deal with at that point. So that, it's a good lesson for all of us, in that, when things are small, that's when they're easiest to address. But now, Gabriel, the thing I really want to get at with you here is now, how do you move forward? How do you get to that point, like what Ryan was saying, and not put up a wall? Because I would put up a wall. I have. I did.
It's easy to do that.
And what happens, it's interesting. When we put up walls around our heart, they manifest themselves later on in our life in things that we do that are wrong. I remember going through this whole healing process through my church. My priest, he actually recommended this program. I never was able to go to the program in person, but I was able to get all the documents, listen to all the audios, listen to all the talks they would give for the whole thing, go through all the workbooks, go through all the materials, everything. It was this big, great, comprehensive course. It's called Healing the Whole Person it's from the John Paul II Institute. I don't know if you're Christian or Catholic or what, if you're religious or not. But either way, I mean, it's a great program. And I'm not telling you to go out and get it. It was like $80 or something like that, right? To get the whole program. It was, but so worth it. And for me, in what I was going through in that time period. And it equipped me to learn some really great stuff. So how then do you not put up a wall? Or if you do put up a wall and you have put up a wall, how do you then get rid of it so it doesn't manifest itself in other areas of your life in sinful activity or wrong thinking or just some kind of weird hang up that you have or something? Because that's kind of how walls act. When we wall ourselves off, we think it's protecting us. And we think it's making us more safe. But what it's really doing is it's imprisoning us. And it's keeping us from enjoying life in a fuller measure. And it creates havoc later on. And these things can fester. And I'll tell you, the route to getting rid of walls and or avoiding the building of walls is forgiveness.
A low price of 80. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Forgiveness is priceless.
Yeah.
And it's free. Well, actually, it hurts. So it's not free because it hurts. It costs you in pain. But you're already experiencing this pain. And the best time to do this is now, while you're in the current pain of the situation. And I know it hurts, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I know it hurts. I know it hurts so bad. And I'm sorry. I wish I could take the pain away for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. And you may never trust her to the level, and that's fine. You don't have to ever trust her. I mean, what you're talking about, she's telling you one thing but doing another, so there's dishonesty going on. I mean, you can't really trust her at the level you used to trust her. It wouldn't really be prudent to do that even. So I'm not encouraging you to open up that trust. And I'm not encouraging you to say, oh, nothing happened. No big deal, nothing happened. No. Forgiveness isn't just saying, oh, no big deal. Nope, nothing. Forgiveness is experiencing the pain and acknowledging the wrong and acknowledging how hurtful it was and how painful it was, and acknowledging that this was a really, really awful thing. But then it's letting go of it. And you don't ever have to tell her you forgive her. You don't have to talk to her about it at all. You don't, because forgiveness isn't for her. Forgiveness isn't to repair your friendship. It might. In some cases, it does. But the primary aim of forgiveness is for your healing. For you to heal. The person who got hurt, the person who was offended, the person who bore the pain of the event, right, that was wronged, that person heals through forgiveness. So that would be you in this case. And so you acknowledge it. You sit in there in this moment and you remember and you think, oh my gosh, this was so painful. Like, how could this happen? And you can just in your mind, or maybe if you go someplace and you say it out loud, and you can cry and you can, there's all kinds of stuff. And then you can say, I forgive you. I'm not going to hold on to this anymore. And it might take you more than once. But your willingness to let go of it is going to be where you heal. It's when we build up a wall that we trap ourselves with it. And it's hard. It's really hard. And it becomes even harder. Like when I went through this program where it was talking about how to do this, it was making me go back to the moments where I had felt hurt. Because that's where you have to forgive. You have to go back to where you're feeling that pain and remember. And I can remember it was way back. I mean, we're talking about events that happened 30 years ago. Because I'm old. Right?
I would have been 2. I have memories from when I was 2 that are not good.
I wasn't even born yet because I'm still 29.
That's right. Oh, man.
But I'm talking like years and years and years ago, right? These things happened that I remember in those moments, I built up a wall and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get hurt like this again. But I had to go back to the moment where that person did the thing they did. And I went into the staircase at the school and I sat down and I cried. I started crying in front of them and in front of my other friends, in front of everybody else that was in the room, right? I started crying right there because I just lost it because what was happening. And then I remember just getting out of the room, and there was a staircase that, had doors, it was like a room with stairs in it, right? And
we had that too.
Yeah. And so I went in there and I just sat in there and I cried. And I had to go back to that moment. And I cried again when I had to relive it and go through this process. But then I was able to break down that wall. And I was able to break down other walls in the same way. And it made me wish that I'd known this then, because then I would have just forgiven at that point when I was dealing with it the first time. Then I wouldn't have dealt with the years of dealing with whatever manifestation of that wall was. And then subsequently having to relive it in order to take down the wall, in order to get rid of that situation, the manifestation. But it's really, I don't know, maybe I'm going too deep. Maybe I'm going too hard and off in the woods here. But the point is, for you to heal, it's forgiveness. If you're the one who hurts another person, you heal by repenting of that. By saying you're sorry, by acknowledging the wrong and saying, I am so sorry I did that. I'm going to fix my life so I don't do that again. That's what repenting is, right? You feel sorrow for the thing you did that was wrong, and you resolve to not do it again. In forgiveness, you experience the pain of somebody doing that, and you acknowledge it was wrong, and you release them from it. They will have consequences. One of the consequences may be you're not going to trust them. Through forgiveness, you do not have to trust this person anymore. That's not a requirement. You don't have to like the person. That's not a requirement. But what you're doing is you're letting go. You're acknowledging it was wrong and painful and letting go.
Another way to say it is they don't owe you anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You don't have to trust them anymore, but you acknowledge, I don't need revenge. They don't owe me anything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yep. Gabriel says, at first I thought I wasn't building walls, but now I think I've been doing that. Yep.
Easy to accidentally do that.
I
think that's how we all got to where we are most of the time.
Without noticing it, we just do it.
Without noticing.
Mm-hmm. This is an opportunity for my ability to love others to grow, and that I shouldn't try to blame others. I should be exploring forgiveness and let go. Absolutely. And, it's not so they can be off the hook. I remember dealing with that with somebody who was dealing with a perpetrator of criminal type level activity. And forgiveness isn't saying, hey, you don't have to, face the consequences of what you did. No, you do. I'm just letting go of it for my health and my well-being. And so I don't put up this wall. But I would encourage you to take responsibility for your actions and go to jail for what you did, right? Because you need to.
Justice does not compete with forgiveness.
Right, exactly. So, Gabriel, I know it's painful. I know it's hard. And, but through these times, you grow. Yep. You said this is an opportunity for my ability to love others to grow, and for your love for others to grow. Absolutely. And it also gives us, excuse me, like Ryan said, people go their certain separate ways all the time. I mean, it happens. We grow apart. We grow together with people. We grow apart from people. It's the natural course of life. It happens. And, and it's always so hard when it's somebody this close. When it's somebody you've shared so much with and that you understood at such a deep level. And all of a sudden they're gone. And, it wouldn't be as big a deal if there wasn't, some kind of lying, dishonesty, all that stuff. It probably wouldn't be so bad. But with all that stuff, it hurts even more. And yeah, so I'll just encourage you, when you're in the moments when you're feeling the pain of this, because it'll probably come and go, there'll be moments where it hurts more than others. It'll go off your mind for a while and you'll get to do this thing that you needed to do, whatever. You'll go for a walk, or, you'll eat a good meal, or whatever it is. But then there'll be the quiet moments when it comes back and it digs at your heart even more. And in those moments, that's when you can say to yourself, yes, this was wrong. What you did was wrong. And it hurt me a lot. And I forgive you. And if you pray, you can ask God to forgive them. If you're a religious person, if you're whatever religion you are, if you believe in God, that helps too. And pray, you can pray, God, I ask you, please forgive so-and-so for this wrong. It's like
That's a big one.
when
That's a
Jesus was
lot.
on the cross, he said, "Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." In this case, the same way. You know, she doesn't know how much she's hurt you truly. And maybe she does. Maybe you've explained it. I don't know, but she doesn't
Well,
understand it.
part of knowing is feeling too.
That's
She
true.
doesn't feel it the way you
She
feel it.
she doesn't feel it, right? So she doesn't know. So you can say, God, forgive her, and then pray for the healing on both of you. And if that can heal the relationship, great. So be it, and great. But maybe not. And if the relationship is severed, then sometimes that happens. But if you can go through the forgiveness process, you, Gabriel, can heal. And I would encourage you to take some of those steps. So anyway, now I've talked for a long time. Ryan, did you have anything else?
No, I guess we're past our 2 hour mark. So I
Mm-hmm.
just want to say, Gabriel, thank you so much for the question. And I honestly hope that you you can get through this without too much pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you have the right heart, you have the right head on your shoulders. I really like what you said. Um, Acknowledging our points and that you're going to do it. I think that that's says a lot, because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people who, we might give different perceptions to, different advice or different thoughts and experiences, and they go on, not saying any of the people in the chat, but like in my experience, people I've talked to, um, you know, they hear this information, they're like, wow, that's interesting, and then they never do anything about it, right? They never forgive the other person. They never, right? They choose to ignore the helpful advice. But it sounds like, based on your statement, that you want this to improve,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to grow, not to get revenge, not to say, oh, she, blah blah blah, she owes me, blah blah blah. You want to just move onwards, and I think that's great. So I encourage you to do so, and I'm proud of you.
Mm. Okay, Gabriel says, side note, I'm not religious, but I do believe there's a lot of great lessons in the stories that are told in religion. Absolutely. Thank you both for your kind advice, words, shared experiences. It's been our pleasure, Gabriel.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And
thanks so much,
and it's
Gabriel.
fine. It's fine if you're not religious. You can
Yeah.
still experience the healing power of forgiveness by you forgiving her, right? And it can totally heal you inside. Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if you're on Discord or not, and if you're looking for some friends in the Discord community. I don't know if you're part of the Static P Friends community, but there would be great people to hang out with that are encouraging. Remember that you're loved here.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you show up, if you want to be active, if you just want to lurk, whatever, we love you here. And if you're on Discord and you want to direct message myself or Ryan or Princess or whatever, as you're going through this pain of this, and you're looking for more insight, you can feel free
Yep.
to DM any of us, and ask questions, whatever you want to do, and we'd be happy to help out. And that goes for everybody listening. If you guys want to reach out on Discord, feel free.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes it takes me a day to respond, but I'm usually on
Me
there
too.
every day, and but we'd be
Thanks.
happy to help you in any way we can. And we love you guys so much, and we're so grateful for you guys coming and being a part of this show. Thanks for being such great friends to us in the chat, and also those of you who are friends to us on Discord and everything. It's great to be surrounded by such wonderful, wonderful people. And we couldn't do this show without you.
That's right.
Otherwise,
Certainly couldn't.
otherwise it'd be Joe and Ryan talk about stuff, and that'd be really interesting too for you, I'm sure. But
Well, they wouldn't be here to experience it, so
that's true. That's true.
that wouldn't be interesting for them at all.
We would have fun. In fact, we did have fun. We created a whole bunch of shows that we still haven't put out. That
That's true.
like
That's
just us talking. We had a great time though, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It was great. We just like talking to each other. We
Yeah,
always have a great time,
it's
no matter
true.
what the topic.
It is true. Wait, any info on Criminal Idol season 2? That's a really good question too.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yep,
So,
there is
um,
information on Criminal Idol season 2. There is. The answer is yes. The end.
yes,
Just
there
kidding.
certainly is information on it. So, anyways, thanks, guys. It's gonna be a long while. We need a lot of art, and we kind of had to start over on the art, and so it's gonna be a long while. So I'll make sure I keep on pumping something out, some projects out while it's in the works.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's what you got for now.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. But we did get all of our voice actors, so all that's happening. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's moving forward. It's just, it's a big project and there's not a whole lot of hands working on it. And so it's going to
Yep.
take a while. So it's all right. But anyway, thank you guys so much for supporting us. Thank you guys for being here. And if you want to give us money, you can.
What? Yeah, that's
Just
true.
kidding.
It's a true statement. If you want to give us money, you can.
I don't know how.
I don't know. That was a great comment, though.
Anyway, yep. And yeah, you can go if you go to bss.studio and we showed this flash drive. This is available on our store. We don't have a whole lot of them left.
They're probably
I think we
thinking that's a
might.
box instead of a flash drive.
Oh, it's a flash drive in there.
Boom.
It's cool.
It's
You
cool
know
little
what?
box too. It's really awesome.
It is. It's a cool box with Swilk's thing on there. It's great. And there's other stuff. There's the Detective plushie. There's the book and the CD and stuff. Yep. There's cool stuff.
Mhm.
So same shameless places where you can buy or donate to.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. We will see you next week on Don't Worry Wednesday.
That's right.
Until then, you guys have a wonderful week. And yeah, reach out if you need to, if you want to, whatever. We'd love to hear from you. So
That's right.
until next week, take care. We'll see you guys then.
Bye-bye. Peace.
Bye.